We actually hold in our hearts the spark of the divine. Archbishop Timothy Dolan of Milwaukee, he once said this to his congregation. Notice his use of the word actually, as if to say contrary to what is commonly accepted. Like we have forgotten or lost sight of a knowing so fundamental and so important to our sanity and our well-being. Why are so many people dimly aware of the soul and hardly ever think about their own soul? Increasing number are questioning if we even have a soul. How is it that in the historical past, people would refer to the soul like it was a given, yet today, its very existence is questioned? It's another human irony. And we wanted to get away from the tyranny of religion and leaders who exploited their positions and the truth for their own ends, only to fall for the same trap again, but with a different cast of characters. The main reason is our modern society has fallen in for the perverse and arrogant thinking that because of our medical advances, social reform, and science and technology, that we are somehow immune or divorced from our past. We assume that the past and its history has little relevance for us today. There is also a sense, bar some exceptions, that what was known in the past was inferior to what we know today. This is a serious mistake, and as we can doom ourselves to history repeating itself, one way or another. The consequence is that we have actually placed ourselves in a bubble prison, a cognition trap. We have unwittingly imprisoned ourselves and let others in power, the modern pharaohs, be the arbitrators of our reality. It's come about that because when we dropped religion as being the main holder of the truth and education, we switch to the mass media and science, both soulless, who serve their own ends and are led by mortal and imperfect people. Now, because you say science has done wonders, it's true, but much of this century's effort in science has gone into new ways to enslave people. Billions are poured into the Hadron Collider, and some other countries are now building theirs. Yet no mention how this costly invention improves lives or saves the earth from damage and pollution. It's really an experiment to see if they can break down the smallest atom particles into the smallest component part. What for? It sounds like somebody's trying to crack the creation code. The average person is willing to be uninvolved and go through life on autopilot because they believe they are nothing more than their physical body. I will never understand people who dislike being deep and want to skip on superficial surface of life and don't like to think for themselves. They are mentally lazy, or very young souls, or humans whose evolution was stunted by their choices or life situation. All humanity has, to varying degrees, fallen for the illusion that this physical matter dimension is as solid as it gets. The material world is the only existence that has substance that you can perceive with the five senses. The mystical side of religion, like Christian Gnosticism, Jewish Kabbalah, and ancient Sufism, refer to a divine spark present in all humans, like a pilot light that must not go out. The pilot light is the lifeline to our soul and our heart. Pilot light is the lifeline to our soul and heart intelligence, so we don't cut ourselves off completely from the light of God. Conventional Christianity refers to the resurrection of the soul after death. In Catholicism, this means to end up in either heaven or hell or purgatory. They usually hint that most people go to purgatory with no mention of growth, just repentance. Whereas the mystical sides of religion and spirituality open human possibility by saying we can evolve in our current life to higher levels of understanding and awareness. Gnostics refer to the divine spark as the seed of God consciousness, which can be left dormant or sparked up to light one's being. Jesus is either seen as an avatar of the light of God, descended to the earth to live and breathe among us as ordinary man and to die to himself, to ascend to Christ consciousness. It was meant as an example that would guide us out of the dark and ignite the spark in men and women to wake up to their true nature. When the soul is allowed to express itself, the clingy and needy ego no longer dominates with a false perception of a poor shadow version of our true selves. We can return to much richer conscious awareness that has always been ours to claim eventually. A gift of life is to fan that pilot light to grow into a flame, and then a roaring spirit fire. It is the return of God consciousness and getting away from being a slave to the society that we live in, which conditions us to believe that we are just gender-bending human organisms living a single, pointless life. What a prison that is.